Hello and welcome to the Two Man Advantage podcast. It's a Lions recap after the Lions dropped another game, this time at home to the Denver Broncos on Sunday Night Football, as well as now our 0-3. Mike Payton from SideLion is here to talk to me about it and help me through and shed a little light here, Mike, for me. Is there any hope for this team at all, or is this just the beginning of the end for this season?
Well, remember when you were a kid and your mom would put you to bed and you'd say, leave the hallway light on, and she'd just crack the door? Mm-hmm. That's pretty much as much light as I can shine on this season right now. Anytime a team starts 0-3, there's only been 5 teams in 95 years of NFL that have made the playoffs after an 0-3 season. I can't. I'd love to see it happen, but at this point, I just cannot. Not the way this team's playing.
I believe you told me that last week when they started 0-2, and says there's only 11 teams that made the playoffs. Now it's only 5 teams. What happens when they go to Seattle next Monday and are 0-4? How many teams make the playoffs then?
Just one.
Just one. All right. So, Mike, give me your assessment from the game. To me, my honest opinion of this game, there was just no energy from the crowd, no energy from the team. And the play calling was just brutal. It's like they were playing a Sunday 1:00 game. It's like these guys didn't know that, hey, this is prime time. This is national game. You would think that they would get amped up for this, but what happened?
Not only was it a primetime game, it was a must-win.
Yes,
you can't afford to go 0-3 these days, and what the Lions came out there and did was run the same old game plan that hasn't been working for the past 2 weeks, and you have to wonder why they are so insistent and so stubborn on continuing to try to do things like make Joik Bell work again, or not use Amir Abdullah as much as you could, or Theo Riddick even. I mean, every time Riddick caught a pass last night, I mean, he was racking up yards. Why not use that more often? Even Chris Collinsworth was constantly talking about how they were attacking the Broncos in the center of their defense with their running backs, and how that was working, and how they should have exploited that matchup all night. And the Lions never did that, and they just lack that killer instinct that every great team has. And as long as they do that, it's going to be a long season. And at this point, who are they picking in the draft?
Oh, come on, Mike! You're starting to sound like a Chicago Bears fan now.
Oh no, I love the team, and I'll always have a little bit of faith here, but I just can't. I can't see it right now. Not with this play call. They really need to go back to the drawing board and change things, and they got to do it this week, because Seattle is no joke.
Right. Especially them playing in Seattle, where the 12th man pretty much runs that team. So it's going to be interesting to see. And if we can score some points in Seattle, great. Unlike the Bears, they got shut out yesterday. But let's get back to the Lions. And when Caldwell came in as a head coach, their number one was priority when looking for a coach was find someone who can fix Matt Stafford to be that elite quarterback that we think he could be, or we hope he can be. Him being a first overall pick. So they bring in Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell, has luck with Joe Flacco and Peyton Manning and all these other great quarterbacks. But is it more about the relationship between Caldwell and Stafford, or is it more the relationship between Stafford and Joe Lombardi? It seems like those two aren't on the same page, or whatever Joe is drawing up, Matthew's just not getting the point, or there's so much restriction on Matthew.
Well, I think you're right. There's obviously, handcuffs on Matthew Stafford, and they're not letting him play his game, which is obviously, it's not holding on to the ball for extended period of times. It's not trying to run for your life. I mean, that's not Stafford's game. Anytime that Stafford was able to get the ball out quickly this week and last week, he generally had success doing that. And the Lions continue to stray away from that. And I think that Caldwell, means well and everything. And I don't doubt that Caldwell is the right guy for the job. But Lombardi really needs to reassess his playbook and allow Matthew Stafford to be put in positions where he can succeed. And thus far, he's just not doing that. And I think Stafford wants to be better. I know I'm 100% sure that this kid isn't just going out there and throwing ducks for the sake of it. But it's all going to rely on the play call and everything coming together for it to work out. Mm-hmm. So far, it hasn't.
Exactly. Yeah, you brought up a lot of good points. Let's switch over to the defensive side of the ball. And obviously, that wasn't the same Detroit Lions defense that was ranked number 2 in the league from last year. Obviously, you're missing big critical key pieces in DeAndre Levy and not having Ndamukong Suh there and Nick Fairley. Tell me about this defense. Is this defense ever going to get any better, or is it just pretty much going to be the lackluster defense that you've been seeing for the first 3 weeks, and just the motto for the Lions should be just score more points than the other team to get a win?
Yeah, anytime you get into that shootout mode, it usually doesn't work out for one of the teams, obviously. And as far as the defense, they actually they played the best they had played all season last night, and when it came down to it, the Broncos just had way more shots at the end zone than the Lions did, and the Lions just could not keep the defense off the field because of all the 3 and outs and the poor penalties on offense, and Darius Slay met Peyton Manning last night.
I wonder if he asked him for an autograph.
Yeah, well, I'd be honest. If I were Darius Slay, I'd ask for an autograph, even if he threw downs at me. But yeah, the defense has to be able to continue to slow down offenses. And now, granted, I did say that they played their best last night. I hope to get anywhere close to where they were last year. It's going to take a miracle.
Well, yeah, pretty much. I think you summed it up perfectly. It's going to take a miracle. So, Mike, you see this team, the way they play against, let's say, quality opponents. And let's be honest, the Denver Broncos of last night wasn't the Denver Broncos of 2 years ago, where they had the best offense in the league. This was, a bottom of the road passing offense and offense period, and they still torched the Lions on these deep passes, like you said, to Demaryius Thomas. But I still go back to, I was seeing it all over Facebook today, same old Lions, when it's a perfect example of same old Lions when they're lined up for the field goal. Denver was lined up for a field goal, and they get a penalty for having too many men on one side. It's just frustrating as a fan. We've seen this movie 1,000 times. This cannot happen. And you would think that Caldwell or the special teams coordinator should know the rule books on what's a proper way to line up your special teams when it comes to field goals.
Yeah, and you could see on the sideline that Joe Marciano looked a little bit confused. And then I think he kind of laid into Slay afterwards. And I'm not sure that, I obviously both are to fault here, but Marciano should definitely know
The
that
rules.
that's a rule. Uh, yeah, I'm not ready to say same old Lions. I'll never be able to say that. I don't think that the Lions losing this year has anything to do with the 1994 Detroit Lions.
But still, at least back in 1994, they actually won a playoff game. We're still
Uh,
waiting for that.
that was 91.
Oh, I'm sorry, 91. I'm sorry. Let's back up even more now.
Yeah, yeah. But there always seems to be things like that happens that absolutely kills the Lions, and you saw it last night. I mean, uh, Demarius Thomas fumbles the ball. The Lions pick it up, run in for a touchdown, and it's not a touchdown because it was ruled down by contact, which it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then you've got Stafford moving his arm forward, clearly moving his arm forward,
Right.
throwing an incomplete pass that was ruled a fumble. There's just always things like that seem to happen to the Lions, and they do it to themselves just as much as it's done to them. You just can't win that way.
No, you said it. You cannot turn the ball over and expect to win, and it's frustrating for all, I guess, for Lions fans. But a lot of Lions fans are just either you're either still believe in this team or this team is like pretty much okay. Let's see who we can get in next year's draft, which I still believe that they're going to be an 0-5 team before they get a chance at their first win because they go on the road now to Seattle. Let's be honest, it's Monday night. It's in Seattle. I don't like their chances. If they score 7 points or 3 points, I count that as a victory against that Seattle defense. And then you're home. Okay, you're at home. You're playing the Arizona Cardinals, who just shellacked the San Francisco 49ers 47-7. And this team has just been looking unstoppable. This is like, where does this end? Does this end after Arizona game or like?
I, I think that at this point, it's probably safe to say that they get that first win against Chicago. I mean, you hope that they get
Yeah.
that first win against Chicago. Yeah, Arizona's averaging 40 points a game, I believe, and the Seahawks, while they haven't been that great this year, they're still at home. I mean, they're
Hmm.
still the Seahawks at home. It's a very very tough place to win. I don't think they've lost there in a long time since at least 2013. Yeah, the Lions really need to make a change. I mean, they've got to get into the playbook and scrap some stuff, and maybe sit Joik Bell on the bench and utilize these younger guys. Utilize Calvin Johnson. Take a shot down the field.
Exactly.
Do anything.
It's like in the past we used to pull our hair out when Stafford would just heave it up to Calvin and like let's say 9 times out of 10 it would either be incomplete or Calvin would catch it, but and or he would get picked off and it's just like, oh, why you throw it there, and now he's doing the complete opposite. These little short little dump off passes, little safe 5-10 yarders if he has enough time, which obviously with that offensive line, he is not getting enough time. Obviously, so he should be like Peyton Manning, just work from the shotgun all day, all game long. Just the shotgun and don't worry about it and get it out as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Throw screens, throw flanks out, just whatever you can, just to get them off your line a little bit, and then you can go back to run or take a deep shot down to Calvin. But there's got to be something to do with obviously the offensive coordinator. And if this continues, I don't see Joe Lombardi staying here at the end of the season. I think he has to go.
Oh, absolutely. I don't see them pulling a Brad Osmus here and saying they're going to fire him and then let him stay. No, if the Lions continue to play this way, then yeah, he's gone. There's no way that this guy can keep his job, and I think that after 3 weeks of football, somebody in the front office has to see it now and has to wonder, are we making the right decisions here? And I honestly, I'm sure a lot of people might disagree, but I honestly think that at some point Jim Caldwell takes over the offensive play calling this season. It'll probably be, halfway through the year if the Lions keep doing this, or maybe near the end. But I definitely see Jim Caldwell taking over the play calling at some point.
That's I can see it. I can see that prediction coming true, especially obviously with the way that they produced in their first 3 games, and it seems like there's no juice in this team. This team is like very dry, very lackluster. It's like they were going through the motions yesterday. It's very sad to see, especially after them having such a successful 11-win season last year.
Well, I don't know if you saw this, but the Broncos, cornerback Bradley Roby said we knew what the Lions were going to do before they walk into the building, and knows what you're going to do at every play. You're going to lose that game, and you're going to lose a lot more. Serious changes need to be made, and they need to be made this week. If they could pull off a win in Seattle, I will be absolutely shocked.
Oh, I think everyone in the NFL would be absolutely shocked, especially against that defense and that team over there. But like I said, Lions on the road. Even if let's say we're, best case scenario, let's say the Seattle, Russell Wilson goes down with an injury and they're just playing like crap, turning the ball over left and right and center. The Lions still find a way to lose. It's happened so many times before. Or they'll play a great first half and then they'll just, take it easy in the second half like they did in San Diego. All these things happen to the Lions. Like, I could write a book on the Lions how to lose a game, because I think they've done every way possible to lose a game in the NFL.
No team struggles against a backup quarterback like the Detroit Lions do.
They make him look like a superstar, aka Matt Flynn, 6 touchdown passes.
Yeah, even last year with the number 2 defense, they go into Chicago to face Jimmy Clausen. Supposed to be an easy win. Granted, the Lions did win that game, but Clausen,
I was there in Chicago. Yes, it was. It was supposed to be like, oh, Jimmy Clausen, get out of here. Yeah.
Right. Or of course Matt Flynn.
Matt Flynn.
2011. Lions need to get it together. They really do. It's just sad to talk about here on Monday. And
exactly. Well, next week we'll be able to talk about this on Tuesday, and we can have a little Tuesday morning quarterback.
Yeah, that should be great.
Yes. So hopefully it'll be under better circumstances. Maybe we'll talk about them blowing a 20-point lead in the 4th. Maybe something different like that.
Who knows?
All right, Mike. You can check out Mike's stuff from SideLion Report.com. As always, Mike, we'll talk to you next week, and thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Darrin.